Breaking news! The Miami Dolphins just sent a clear and unequivocal message to the rest of the NFL. This team has grit. But don't be fooled by a strong day at training camp. Behind the scenes, things are heating up like crazy. Tensions are rising, fights are breaking out, injuries are piling up, and while some young stars are on the rise, big questions still hang over this roster. Will this be the team that finally breaks through and makes it to the Super Bowl? Or are we witnessing another heartbreak in the making? And let's not kid ourselves. Chris Grier's passive stance is only adding fuel to the fire. I'm rooting for this roster to be enough. I have all the details, but before I dive in, like this page if you've been following the Dolphins through thick and thin. If you're the kind of fan who still believes in this team no matter what, leave a comment saying, "Go, Dolphins! We can make it to the Super Bowl." Now let's talk about what really went down in these joint practices with the Detroit Lions because it was a wild ride. Wednesday was a disaster. Plain and simple. The Lions dominated, Miami looked flat, unprepared, and mentally checked out. Reporters weren't holding back, and the narrative around the Dolphins was turning ugly. But then came Thursday, and oh boy, this team bounced back like it had something to prove. Detroit media went from clowning the Dolphins to showing real respect. Guys like Colton Pouncey and Mike Payton noted how much sharper Miami was, especially in the red zone 7-on-7s. The offense clicked, the defense fought back, and suddenly there was hope again. A big moment of relief came with the return of Chop Robinson. After a scare that saw him leave Wednesday's practice on a cart, many feared the worst. But he was back Thursday, running drills, participating in team activities, and proving that the rib injury wasn't as serious as it first appeared. He likely won't suit up for Saturday's preseason game, but his trajectory is exactly what Dolphins fans needed to see. No long-term issue, and still one of the most exciting players to watch on this team. That said, not everyone was on the field. 10 players missed Thursday's practice, including key names like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Phillips, and Emo Kamara. And then came 2 new concerning absences, Devin Achane and Zach Sealer. Now, let's break this down carefully. Sealer appeared to be on a veteran rest day, on the sideline, hat on, chilling with the team. No biggie. But Achane? He wasn't even spotted. No clear explanation, no incident from the day before, just gone. Hopefully it's nothing, maybe a precautionary day off. But anytime your RB1 vanishes without warning, you get nervous. Now let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa. Because when the lights come on and the pressure hits, he showed up. Tua looked sharp, dropping dimes in one-on-one drills and lighting up the red zone in 7-on-7s. He hit Jalen Waddle and Eric Ezukanma for early touchdowns, and the difference with Waddle back on the field was undeniable. Waddle and Tyreek together are a nightmare for opposing defenses. Even when Tyreek is out, Waddle's presence forces defenses to stretch, and that opens the door for players like Dwayne Eskridge to feast. Speaking of Eskridge, this guy is making his case for the 53-man roster in a big way. He's been balling out in camp, made huge plays in last week's joint practice against the Bears, and then again on Thursday against the Lions. A 30-yard seam route from Tua, a 20-yard post, and he straight up mossed either Brian Branch or DJ Reed, depending on who you ask, for the play of the day. This isn't hype for hype's sake. He's got return game value and has proven he's more than just a camp body. Pencil him in as WR5. No question. And then there's Malik Washington. The rookie wideout continues to impress. He had a 15-yard touchdown from Tua in 11-on-11s and has been making the most of every opportunity. When Tyreek and Waddle are drawing double teams, Washington will get one-on-one looks, and with Tua's accuracy over the middle, that's where this kid can thrive. The offensive line remains a mixed bag. Run blocking? Solid. Guys like Paul and Savion on the left side are bulldozing defenders, and James Daniels and Aaron Brewer have looked reliable. But pass protection is still a major concern. Aiden Hutchinson was living in the backfield during these practices. The right side, without Austin Jackson, has been especially vulnerable. One play that stood out, Patrick Paul absolutely leveled Rock Ya-Sin on a run play, sent him flying. Rock responded by throwing a punch. Paul didn't retaliate, smart move. In a real game, that's 15 free yards. That's the kind of discipline you want from a developing lineman. Defensively, there was real improvement from Wednesday, though still some areas to clean up. On Wednesday, the secondary got torched. Amon-Ra St. Brown was having his way, and Jared Goff looked like he was in mid-season form. But Thursday saw Miami push back. Efedin Melifonwu stood out big time, multiple PBUs and a clutch pass breakup on the final play of practice. He's locked in as one of Miami's top safeties alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick. Elijah Campbell will be that third guy. And frankly, the safety group is shaping up to be one of the more dependable parts of the defense. The same can't be said for the corners. Storm Duck is CB1, and that's not exactly good news. He's earned it based on performance, but that tells you a lot about the depth, or lack thereof, at that position. Jack Jones had a better day Thursday after an ugly Wednesday, but he's still inconsistent. Kendall Sheffield and Cornell Armstrong? Rough outings. Miami is desperate for another boundary corner. Greer, if he were actually proactive, which we know he isn't, should be chasing someone like Asante Samuel Jr. or Stephon Gilmore yesterday. But we're stuck hoping internal options step up. Linebackers, though, different story. This might be the strength of the defense. Jordan Brooks is having a camp that screams Pro Bowl potential. Willie Gay Jr. has been electric. Tyrell Dodson is the least consistent of the bunch, but still serviceable. KJ Britt has looked like a beast. These guys bring fire, and Thursday's scuffle between Britt and Gay? Loved it. This defense needs that kind of intensity. If you're not trying to run through a dude's face, you shouldn't be here. So that's where we stand after 2 joint practices with Detroit. The question now is, what does it all mean for this team moving forward? Should we feel more confident? Is this bounce-back performance a real turning point, or just a blip before the next breakdown? Because while that bounce-back was crucial, and the intensity Thursday was miles ahead of what we saw the day before, the question still lingers, can this level of focus and execution be sustained? Because that's what separates a playoff team from a Super Bowl contender. This is not just about a good day of camp or bouncing back after a bad joint practice. This is about the long-term DNA of the Miami Dolphins. And when you take a closer look, you start to see just how fine the line is that this team is walking. Let's get real. The margin for error is razor thin. On one hand, you've got a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa who's shown, time and again, that when he's in rhythm and protected even halfway decently, he can dice up defenses. He's accurate, he's composed, and he's taken real strides in chemistry with these young receivers. But on the other hand, we're one awkward fall, one missed block, or one blown protection away from disaster. And this offensive line, particularly in pass protection, still gives you every reason to hold your breath. And what about the depth? That's where the concern really starts to grow. Look at what happens when just 1 or 2 key guys go down. Tyreek Hill hasn't practiced in over a week. A chain disappears from practice with no explanation. And what happens? You're suddenly asking guys like Dwayne Eskridge and Malik Washington to carry more of the load, not just in camp, but potentially in real, regular season snaps. Now, those guys are stepping up, no doubt. But is that a sustainable model for 17 games and a playoff run? And then, we've got to address the elephant in the room one more time, Chris Greer. I'll say it again. He should have been gone already. The man has consistently ignored depth at key positions. He's slow to act. And even now, with glaring holes in the secondary, with Storm Duck your CB1 and no proven second boundary corner, he's sitting on his hands. How do you go through camp, joint practices, and not make a move when guys like Asante Samuel Jr. and Stephon Gilmore are still options? This team is trying to win now. McDaniel is coaching like his future depends on this season. The players are fighting like it. But is the front office matching that same urgency? The fans sure don't think so. But hey, there's also plenty to get excited about, like the linebacker unit. Let's talk more about that, because if the defensive line is the muscle, the linebackers are the heart. Jordan Brooks is absolutely everywhere. Every report from camp says the same thing. He's vocal, he's active, and he's the guy who sets the tone. He might be the most valuable player on the defensive side right now, and he's just getting started. Willie Gay Jr., he brings fire every day. He and KJ Britt getting into it at practice isn't a red flag. It's exactly what you want. These guys care. They want to win. They're not going through the motions. And let's not forget about the fight in this team. Whether it's Patrick Paul not retaliating after Rock Ya-Sin took